Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I got something to share with you tonight. It's about my timeshare nightmare. Actually, back in February, I made a video, and that was when I found out about how big of a problem I'm in with my timeshare. And I made a video, so I don't want to repeat some of the stuff I talked about there. I'm basically locked into a timeshare I cannot get out. There are many kind of timeshare out there. If anything, hopefully when I share my story with you is that think again and again and again before you get into a timeshare purchase. That's all I can say. There's just a lot of scam out there. You probably won't be getting into a situation as bad as but if you ever consider, because they always make it sound like it's great, the greatest deal in the world, you're usually given like 5 to 10 days cooling down period, but get a lawyer, read over the document, think about the worst case scenario. When I bought my timeshare back in 1998 for about $17,000, and at that time it sounds to me, it was like nothing too complicated. It's a good investment and I can give it to my children. It's deeded. And the annual maintenance fee was only like $500 a year. So that was like, it was all good. Like I can travel with it and all that stuff. 20 years later now, I'm paying $1,500. So the fee has gone up 41% for the last 5 years. And I'm going to explain why. And the worst part is this is the kind of deal I cannot get out of. That not just myself. If I die, it will be part of my estate and it will get inherited by my children. They're going to go after my children forever for the maintenance fee, for the ever increasing maintenance fee, even though you don't use it. So enough of that. Just think again. If you have one, reevaluate the situation. If you can get out of it, try your best to get out of it. Anyway, a little update of my situation with my timeshare I'm with is a resort called Carriage Hills and Carriage Ridge Resort. For years, people have been complaining about the increase of maintenance fees, and people were retiring, they can't afford it, people was defaulting. So as of now, the 25% of the intervals, the timeshares are account for by intervals, right? If you buy 1 week or 2 weeks. So 25% of the intervals are in defaults, they delinquent. So when I pay my fee a year, I have to cover them. So you can imagine for every 100 interval, like 75 of the interval owners paying for the 25 that are not paying. So I'm actually paying 33% more. And that has been going on for years. People have been complaining and there's nothing we can do. We're just enslaved to our contract. Now, so what's happening right now, I don't know if it's a blessing, I'm hoping. What happened is because of COVID-19 or things happening, all of a sudden, the board of directors notified us, I think as of April 30th, that we're going to court. They're seeking the court to protect them, seek some kind of protection so that they can proceed to continue to operate the resort as usual, and hoping for restructuring. And the hearing is this Friday. It's coming up this Friday. So for the first time, I'm actually reviewing the financial statements of our resort in detail. I do have an accounting background, and I'm just shocked by the numbers. For years, according to BDO account, the firm that's been hired to put together this report, I mean, for years we've been having bad debt issues for the last 4 years. We have about like $4 million bad debt in the Carriage Hills size that not that has been incurring bad debt expenses. We spent, and even though with the problem, we've been operating in an operating deficit for the since 2015. For some reason, the manager can continue to spend our hard-earned money, increasing our maintenance fee, and they spent $13 million in the last 4 years in capital improvement. And the projection for capital expenses from 2020 to 25 is $31 million. Who's going to pay for it? And the projected deficit by the end of this year, December 2020, is $3 million. And that's not accounting for the impact of COVID-19, that people are not traveling, people not leaving their home. There's like a projected cash inflow of 5.5 million in the forecast. I don't see how it's coming. I don't have the details with it. So we're starting with 3 million in the hole this year, operating deficit, plus maybe more, plus there's like a 31 million of capital obligations ahead of us. So it's very concerning. The owners, there's around 12,000 owners. And the thing is, a lot of them just have no clue. I mean, I just told you, I just read the statement this week. A lot of them just really have no idea what's ahead of them. And they probably thought the situation is not as bad. It is bad. It's just, if you read the report, according to BDO, this place is this resort is not viable. We should be like going to bankruptcy, into receivership. We should liquidate the resort. I think someone was telling me at one point, I read that our resort is worth $60 million, 60. And somebody told me it was like today is 90 million. Doesn't matter if you just declare bankruptcy, sell the resort, we should be able to get a piece and just go away without just end this nightmare. But the problem, let me tell you about the problem, is that all the owners has to vote collectively for an obsolescence to scrap the resort. And the required number of votes is 75%. Now this size, 75% is not achievable. Why? Because we have to just say 22% the owner, or about 25% of the fees, 22% the owner are delinquent. They are like, we can't find them. They are probably not voting. And we need their votes to compose of the 75%. And then the developer, Wyndham, their vote can be counted as 4 times as much. And they want to keep the resort. So based on what we read from the experience of the countless devastated owners of timeshares around the world, what they've been doing is they will forever increase their fees. If you're sitting on a prime piece of property, they will basically find a way to kick you out at the end by increasing the fee until you cannot pay for it. And then they will just take over the whole property. I just want to get out, but at the same time, I don't want a huge assessment. Just let me out, let me go. I'm not gonna have any claims or resort, just let me go. So that's where we're at right now. There's a hearing at the court this Friday. Some of the owner has decided to fund, to start a GoFundMe, and we hired a lawyer to represent the real owners, the little guys here, to speak up for our concerns. And with COVID-19, even with the aging of the owners, people are just cannot continue to pay for this ever-increasing maintenance fee. So as it stands, the fee for the coming in about half a year, what they pay is about $1,600 per interval. Some owners own 3 or 5. I know this lady, this couple, they own 9 intervals. I just can't imagine how they're going to pay for it. And then plus, if there's any special assessment on top of it, we don't even know. We're like shaking. So I need your prayers. Please, please, please pray for us to be able to get out. We call it opt out, be able to opt out of the resort, opt out at reasonable amounts. I mean, a lot of us hoping nothing, but I don't know. I just want to get out of this mess. And if you're not in it, don't ever get into it. If you think about like these days with Airbnb, we have so many ways to travel. Well, the whole travel industry is, it's it's collapsing. I don't know what to say. I'm just feeling devastated, and I need all the prayers I can get, my friends. Please pray for me to get out of this mess. And good night. That's all. I'm not in a very good mood, but yeah, this is my story. Have a good evening. Bye, everybody.